So, hello everyone, welcome to the PISA presentation event. So, let us begin our introduction. First, I will like to invite Abhinav Rathuri for his introduction.
Okay, sir. My name is Abhinav Raturi. I'm from Dehradun, Uttarakhand. I am 20 years old. Currently, I am doing BBA from Swami Ram Himalayan University. My hobbies are playing cricket, re- reading books, and listening to म्यूजिक और मेरे को टीसा ग्रुप में ज्वाइन हुए अभी 1 मंथ हो चुका है। थैंक यू।
Wow, great, great. Now, I would like to call upon Ashu to give his introduction. Ashu, okay, I guess he's not available. So, now I would like to call upon Arpit Rajoria.
हेलो संतोष सर।
हेलो अभिनव रत्न, कैसे हो?
मैं ठीक हूँ और आप?
हाँ, मैं ठीक हूँ। आज थोड़ा घर में काम में बिजी था, तो सोचा जब भी फ्री टाइम मिला तो ज्वाइन कर लूंगा मीटिंग। आज आपका भी इवेंट है, प्रेजेंटेशन दे रहे हो?
हाँ
यस,
हाँ, आज आज मैंने सोचा कि मैं प्रेजेंटेशन दूँ तो थोड़ा कॉन्फिडेंस और ज़्यादा बढ़ेगा मेरा।
सही है। यस यस,
तो
बहुत अच्छा किया।
इसलिए मैंने हाँ सोचा कि जब जब भी मौका मिले कोई से भी प्लेटफॉर्म में प्रेजेंटेशन देने का तो उसमें मैं प्रेजेंटेशन दूँ।
गुड गुड, अच्छा इनिशिएटिव है अभिनव, ऑल द बेस्ट। और आराम से देना प्रेजेंटेशन, हो जाएगा। Thanks.
होस्ट का नाम क्या है?
एक्चुअली वहाँ पे भूपेंद्र राठौड़ लिखा हुआ है, लेकिन
His
शायद
name
कोई
is Rohil.
रोहिल
Rohil.
जनके। ओके ओके। हाय अर्पित, हाउ आर यू?
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Yeah,
I am fine.
good morning.
I'm fine. What about you?
Yeah, I am also doing good. And yesterday evening you left early, I think. You had some work.
Yeah. I said that I had an exam to take. Like from 6:15, I had an exam, so I had to leave early. So I had
Oh,
already commented on the chat box that I will be leaving early.
yeah. Saw that message late. Then afterwards I realized. Okay. How was your exam?
Yeah, my exam was good. Like I
What
had
exam it
been
was?
preparing. It was my course exam. Like
Okay.
nowadays my internal exams are going on from my side. So it
Engineering,
was my
right?
course. Yeah, engineering,
Mm.
BTech.
Okay.
So it was my course exam, just the internal test, not a very
Yeah.
serious kind of an exam.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah,
How
it
was
was easy and I was able to solve it. So like it was overall good.
good?
Sir, where is Bhupen sir? They told me to introduce myself, but
I think that Rohil is having some internet issues, so we should wait for him. He will be appearing soon, and then we can start, like, continue with the
Yes.
introduction.
Okay.
Arpit, meanwhile, I would like to know your feedback about my presentation, where I can improve myself in the communication or else in the speech.
According to me, your presentation, what I felt was overall it was good. If you will ask me seriously, 1-2 areas of improvement, I think
Yes, yes.
at the beginning of your presentation, you were a bit nervous, I guess, yesterday. So I think that you can change. Okay, that you can be a bit more calm. Like what I do whenever I have to deliver a presentation. See, about anything what I have observed till date, like any kind of speech exercise we have to do, whether it is delivering a presentation in front of class or something. If you start well, the whole thing will go quite smoothly. But if you have if you get a bit of disturbance at the beginning itself, it is going to distort your whole exercise. Okay, so what I do that whenever I have an event to uh, perform in, I just try to be a bit calm for the prior 30 minutes of the meeting. So what I do, I try to do meditation or something of that sort, which really helps me. No,
Yes.
Royal, you are not audible.
Uh, hello. Hello.
Yes,
Am I
now you're
audible?
audible.
Okay.
Yes, now you're
Yes.
audible.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So really sorry for the technical issue for and this issue was there for the second time. So really sorry for this. Uh, yeah. So shall we begin?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So then, Arpit, would you like to give your introduction?
Yes, sure. Uh, Thank you, Rohil, for this opportunity. My name is Arpit Rajodia. I am from Durgapur, West Bengal, and presently I am pursuing mechanical engineering from IIT ISM Dhanbad. And about my hobbies, I am a fitness enthusiast, and I also love coding and programming as well. And I have been connected to this TISA community since last 1.5 years, and it has been a wonderful journey till date. So thank you, Rohil, for this opportunity again.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Arpit. Now I would like to call upon Santosh sir to give his introduction.
Uh, Thank you. My name is Santosh Khaire. I am from Bangalore and presently working as an embedded software developer for Nordson India Private Limited. And my graduation, I completed a BE in Electronics and Communication. And my hobbies is listening music and interested in spirituality. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Santosh sir. Now I would like to invite Ashu to give his introduction.
Yes, sir. My name is Ashutosh Gupta. Currently, I am pursuing my master's from BITS Pilani in microelectronics, and presently and in the past, I have done my graduation from GCT Greater Noida in electronics and communication engineering. After that, I worked in Accenture for 5 months, and after that, I prepare for GATE and get microelectronics and bits Pilani. And my hobbies is playing chess, cricket, and playing indoor and outdoor games.
Oh, wow. That's great. Great, Ashu. All the best with your MTech. So now I would like to invite Anita ma'am.
Hello everyone. My name is Anita and I live in Bangalore. I am working as a senior physical design engineer and having 6.5 years of experience. Um, I have done my master's in microelectronics from Manipal University. Um, I like cooking and traveling, and I also listen audio books. That's all about me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Anita ma'am. I hope that everyone has got their chance to introduce themselves. So, hello everyone. My name is Rohil Zharke. I belong to Nagpur, currently working as a junior specification engineer in Nagpur itself. And I have been a part of TISA since 2019. And it has been a wonderful journey since then. So guys, let us begin with our presentations. I hope that everyone knows the rules. So the basic rules are like everyone will get 25 minutes to present, and after they complete their 25 minutes, they will have to wrap up their presentation within 5 minutes. Uh, so let us begin with Ashu. Uh,
Yes, sir. Should I share my screen?
yeah, please. Yeah, just a second.
It is disabled from your side.
Okay, just a second. Okay. Yeah, now, yeah, please try it now. Great.
Is visible?
Yeah, yes. It is visible now.
So my topic of the presentation is our smartphone culture, good or bad. So we generally use we most of us our use smartphone in our daily life to surf internet and playing games and managing calendar, photos and etc. All those things, and we can say that nowadays that a smartphone is be the part of our life, is essential part of our life. So there is various benefits and issue related with the smartphone. So we will discuss right now. So basically, we will discuss about its impact on, especially on child and our kids, and how its impact on our child life, day to day life. So the first benefits, first we talk about the benefits. So first benefits about the social interaction, that some of the children has facing difficulties to making friends and they are so introvert towards it. So the smartphone is the better choice to interact with someone, that some children that the children can use social networking sites such as Facebook, Twitter and etc., in which they can easily try to engage someone and try to interact someone. So, and the second one is the safety and security, that most of the smartphone has the that most of the smartphone has some real time location apps or not, that we can install in their smartphones, or that we can see their real time location and which what they are doing and where they are. So the third one is the entertainment. So uh, hello hello
Yeah, sure, you're audible. Go on.
Yes. So the third one is the entertainment. So mobile phone is generally used for a entertainment purpose, that during teenager students are lot of stress by doing home assignments and their class, etc. So mobile phone has a lot of internet features and a pack of games, cartoon, etc., in which they can see them in their phone to try to refresh it there and refresh their mind. So in the educational support that right now the mobile phone is an essential part and it is very useful for taking the online classes at the time of COVID. And according to the sample survey that more than 80 and 90% of the government school have does not have their PC and laptop in their home. They only use to serve their online classes in the mobile phone. So and various feature is that and apart from that there are many uh, free platform like YouTube and other apps in which we can see our in which we can see the in which we can see our tutorial lessons and all our thing that we are generally trying to facing difficulty in our classes. And there are some harmful effect of mobile phone as it is a double-edged sword in which there are some tremendous feature as well as some disgusting feature that it is a best source of distracting someone from their path and their goal. So the first one is a tumor that according to the latest survey, it is find that excessive use of mobile phone can increase the risk of tumor in their brain. So we have to take care about this point and some inappropriate media as well that in that at the student life in the early age, kids are generally used to access the inappropriate media such as messages, images, text, which can hamper their study as well as their thought process and perception towards other people. They can find the way easily that pornography content are easily available in the smartphone, which can hamper their studies and various thought process, etc. And academic pressure that most of the children never see that they carry the smartphone in their classes as well as school. So in the one side, the teachers are generally teach them in the blackboard and they are sitting in the back bench and surfing the games, chromes, PUBG like games and various social media site, etc., which can hamper their academic performance and which we can see in their exam. And mental health, so children are generally use social media to children are generally use social media to try to engage someone and which we and what the thing that they can easily attract by the cyber bullies and over the internet. Cyber bullies means that if we can post anything on our social media platform, so cyber bullies can easily fetch their data and try to and hack them and try to blackmail them, which can hamper their mental health. So how do you use smartphone effectively? So as a parent, it is very essential for monitoring our children what they are doing and what they are surfing in the internet. And as 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 a general practice, we should avoid smartphone to our people, to our kids below the age of 16 years. And if we can provide them the smartphones, and we should monitor them what they are doing in their smartphone. And it is important for the parents to restrict the use of smartphone, especially in their home, and try to engage them in a various physical activities. As the third point is in the digital era, it is very important to monitor children activity in their smartphone because smartphone expose kids to various risks and online cyberbullies, adult content, etc. And nowadays it is seen that children are mostly engaged in a smartphone like playing games video rather than in the physical activities like outdoor game like kabaddi, kho, etc. If they try to play these kind of games indoor, they generally surfing internet or mobile games to play these kind of games. So what happen is their eyes are become damaging and they are not engaged any physical activity. So parents must tell them physical fit and exercise is very important for the part of their life. So 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 as every technology, mobile phone is a double-edged sword as I saw, and the technological of smartphone is a tremendous and it is very quite learning tool. But other hand, in the modernization era, it is very useful as well as some distracting feature as well. So what happened, what we can do, we use the actually we use the smartphone, and we also know that what is the pros and cons of the smartphone. By the way, we can use them effectively. So thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah, so any questions for Ashu regarding his presentation?
Yes,
Hello.
I would like to ask question. Okay, Santosha, you can go first. Next.
No, Ankit, you can go first. I'll ask you. No problem.
Okay, so uh, so Ashu, first of all, it was a great presentation from your side. So in one of the slides, you had mentioned that according to you, smartphone is a big disadvantage for the students in terms of their academic performances. Okay, but don't agree to that point completely, because if according to my uh, perspective, if you will use the smartphone in a very positive manner, then it can also enhance your academic performance, right? So how would you like to address this particular point?
The point is that, sir, that smartphone is if we use smartphone effectively, then it is good. But if we continuously use smartphone by seeing some inappropriate media, that it is bad. That as we can see, if we generally study and try to searching something in a smartphone, as we generally use some topic in, as we are studying the topic in maths, etc. So we generally, if we face something difficulty in the, suppose we see some difficulty section in the algebra part, so what we can do, we in order to search this thing in the books, we use our smartphone. And what it is saying that if we generally saw the some topics in the smartphone, we saw a lot of topics in the smartphone. So on the, so at the time of saw, if one particular topic, we saw numerous topic in the smartphone. So what is the, so what is the meaning is that for searching someone which for, so what is the meaning is that if one topic, for finding one topic, it could take 1 minute or 5 minutes more than we continuously use smartphone and lot and waste our 30 minutes of time or even more. So this is the way of a smartphone. So this is the meaning that smartphone could waste our time. So rather to find this particular topic in the smartphone, we can use books, which we can save our time, as well as because smartphone is a way of distraction also.
Yeah, sure. Now I have understood. Rohil, am I allowed to put my input, like what I feel are the areas of improvement? Am I allowed to do that now or at the end?
Yeah, sure. You can do that.
Yeah, so Ashu, I would like to provide you with a few areas of improvement, which is completely my perspective about your presentation. So the first thing was I felt that your speed was a bit high. Okay, so if you can just reduce your speed by a fraction, your delivery part is so good that you will be attract your audience in a more compact manner. So I think that is the first thing. And apart from this, your speech was really great. Your communication skills and everything are also up to the point. And the second point of improvement is about your slides. So I think your slides comprise of big paragraphs, and like although they are presented in the form of points, but I feel that it would be more effective if you can add in a bit more visuals in terms of pictures or that those things in your slide, and you can reduce the length of your points. Like I can see, like in the current slide also, which is there on the screen, you can see that there are two paragraphs which are actually covering the whole space. So you can just find out one line sentence about this, and you can put the whole slide in terms of 4 small points, and then you can just pick that highlight point and explain it to your audience. So I think that one line is going to attract your audience in a much more better manner. So like these are the two areas of improvement which I felt. Again, I would say that I am not king or I am not god. It is just my perspection as an audience. Otherwise, it was a really good speech.
Okay, you can see the speed is high. In what term you can see the speed is high? My speech speed is high, or delivering the content speed is high?
Speed is high. Like overall, you were a bit faster. Like I would prefer that if you can slow down a little bit. Okay, like now you are speaking in a good manner. The speed in which you are answering my questions, that's good, that's understandable. But at the time when you initiate, maybe it's because of nervousness or something. So there, if you can calm down a little bit, not much, it's good only. Okay, so I think it will have a greater impact upon your audience.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Ashu.
Hello. Hello, Ashu.
Yes.
I'm audible.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. So presentation was excellent, and your delivery part was also very good. And whatever Arpit has mentioned about few improvement points, I totally agree with his points that if you mention in a bullet form about one topic in a one single line, that would be better, and that will attract the audience. And whatever you are going to explain, that should not be in the slide, that you have to explain about on that sentence.
Okay.
So and adding images will be a good presentation. Wherever possible, you can add some images, pictures that will give good impact on your presentation. And coming to the topic, avoiding smartphones, not giving smartphones to children during this pandemic is not possible. But as all the children are having this online classes and all, what I suggest that being a parent of 2 kids, so what we do whenever they attend online classes or whenever they use the smartphones, we will be with them. So that we used to check what they are browsing, what content they are seeing on the phones. So that is the one option what we can do. Or else you can have that art lock functionalities as well. But it is better to be with them when they are using the smartphones.
Yes.
And that's all I would like to mention. Thanks. It was a great presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ashu. That was indeed a wonderful presentation. So yeah, so any more questions for Ashu, or we can move on to Abhinav? Okay, I guess we can continue. So thank you, Ashu. If you can please stop sharing your screen.
Yes, sure.
So once again, thank you, Ashu. That was a wonderful presentation. Now I would like to call upon Abhinav Raturi. Abhinav?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Great.
तो सर आज का जो मेरा टॉपिक है वो है हाउ टू रिमूव अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट फ्रॉम वर्ल्ड. तो मैं इस टॉपिक पे आज प्रेजेंटेशन दे रहा हूँ.
या ओके, हाँ ठीक है, तो
तो
फिर आप अपना स्क्रीन शेयर कर सकते हो।
सर वो जो नोट्स है वो मेरे कॉपी में है, तो फिर मैं उससे ही देख के बोल रहा हूँ मतलब।
ठीक है, ठीक है ना, चल ठीक है, ये भी चलेगा।
ठीक है, तो सबसे पहले हम समझेंगे कि अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट क्या होती है। ये एक ऐसी सिचुएशन होती है कि जब हम जॉब ढूंढने जाते हैं पर हमें जॉब नहीं मिल पाती, तो उसको हम बोलते हैं अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट। refers to a situation when a person who is actively searching for employment is unable to find the work। तो अगर हम इसका रेट पता करना चाहेंगे तो नंबर ऑफ अनएम्प्लॉयड and divided by the number in the labor force into 100। तो ये इसका एक रेट का फॉर्मूला होता है। अब हम इसके टाइप्स की बात होगी, तो जो सबसे पहला टाइप है वो है इसका फ्रिक्शनल अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट। इसमें क्या होता है कि जब भी आप एक जॉब से दूसरी जॉब में आते हो, तो जब भी आप जॉब चेंज करते हो, तो आप उस टाइम खाली बैठे रहते हो। तो उस टाइम को हम बोलते हैं उस टाइम आपके पास अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट रहती है, तो हम उसे बोलते हैं फिर फ्रिक्शनल unemployment which exists in any economy due to people being in the process of moving from one job to another। फिर जो दूसरी टाइप की अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट होती है वो होती है साइक्लिकल अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट। इसमें क्या होता है कि जैसे सपोज आपका बिजनेस एक साइकिल में चल रहा है, तो अगर आपकी जो इकोनॉमिक अच्छी नहीं हुई, तो आपके बिजनेस में एक डाउनटर्न आ सकता है, और is the component of overall unemployment that results directly from cycles of economic upturn and डाउनटर्न। आपका जो बिजनेस है वो कभी कभी गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसी से भी आपके बिजनेस पे असर पड़ सकता है, तो इससे भी आपकी अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट आ सकती है। जो तीसरी टाइप की अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट होती है उसका नाम है स्ट्रक्चरल अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट। इसमें क्या होता है कि दैट हैपन्स because of a mismatch between the skill worker have and the jobs that are actually available। मतलब आपके हिसाब से आपको जॉब नहीं मिल पाती, आप जिस जॉब के लिए ढूंढने जाते हो वो जॉब आपको मिल नहीं पाती, बल्कि आपको दूसरी टाइप की जॉब मिलती है जो काम आपको नहीं आता। फोर टाइप की हम देखते हैं, वो होती है सीजनल अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट। इसमें क्या होता है, इट a temporary window of times where the number of available employment opportunities decrease। जैसे कि फार्मर के सिर्फ सीजन में ही उसकी एम्प्लॉयमेंट होती है, वैसे वो हर टाइम खाली बैठा रहता है। या आप सर्दियों के कपड़े देखते हो, उनकी सिर्फ सर्दियों के मौसम में ही एम्प्लॉयमेंट होती है, वैसे वो खाली बैठे रहते हैं। तो इससे भी अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट होती है। फिर आती है फिफ्थ टाइप की disguised unemployment. It refers to a situation when labor that is employed in a job is not actually utilized for the production of goods and services. तो अगर चार लोगों का काम है, तो अगर उसको 10 लोग कर रहे हैं, तो इसमें जो 6 लोग हैं वो फालतू में अपना टाइम वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि इससे कोई आउटपुट भी नहीं बढ़ पा रहा है और ना ही उनको कुछ फायदा हो पा रहा है। तो इस काइज अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट। फिर उसके बाद आती है टेक्नोलॉजिकल अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट। इसमें क्या होता है कि जब भी इंडिविजुअल्स जॉब उसे मिल नहीं पाती, क्योंकि वो एडवांस हो नहीं पाता। जैसे हमारी आजकल टेक्नोलॉजी दिन प्रतिदिन एडवांस होती जा रही है, पर कोई इंसान अगर अपना आप को अपडेट ना कर पाए तो उसको जॉब नहीं मिल पाती। तो इसको हम बोलते हैं टेक्नोलॉजिकल अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट। अब है कि वेज टू फाइट अन तो सबसे पहला है कि चेंज इन इंडस्ट्रियल टेक्निक। तो इसमें क्या है कि प्रोडक्शन टेक्निक should suit the needs and means of the country. It is essential that labor-intensive technology should be encouraged in place of capital in intensive technology. कि हमको जो हमारी इंडस्ट्रियल की टेक्निक है वो लेबर पे ज़्यादा ध्यान देना चाहिए, क्योंकि आजकल ऐसी ऐसी टेक्निक भी आ चुकी है उसमें लग रहे हैं, और जो सारा काम टेक्नोलॉजी से हो जा रहा है, तो इसमें लेबर को जॉब नहीं मिल पाती और शुड बी encouraged in place of capital। और सेकंड है पॉलिसी रिगार्डिंग सीजनल अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट found in agriculture sector and agro-based industrial to remove it। तो इसके लिए हम जो पॉलिसी आनी चाहिए सीजनल के लिए, वो दो में आनी चाहिए। एक तो एग्रीकल्चर में और एक एग्रो बेस्ड इंडस्ट्री में। तो इसमें कौन कौन सी चीज़ें आनी चाहिए? एक तो एग्रीकल्चर शुड हैव मल्टीपल क्रॉपिंग, बी हॉरिकल्चर और प्लांटेशन भी होना चाहिए। इसके बाद डेयरी का भी एक ऑप्शन होना चाहिए एंड एनिमल हस्बेंड्री भी होनी चाहिए। शुड इनकरेज, इन सबको हमें इनकरेज करना चाहिए। फिर जो आपकी सी है वो है कॉटेज इंडस्ट्रीज शुड बी इनकरेज्ड। ये जो कॉटेज की इंडस्ट्री है वो भी इनकरेज हो, ताकि जो सीजन के टाइम पूरा साल भर अगर ये सारी चीज़ें होंगी, तो जो फार्मर या जो लोग सीजन में ही काम करते हैं वो खाली नहीं बैठेंगे। तो इन सब के लिए पॉलिसी भी आनी चाहिए, ताकि इनमें इन सबको ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा फायदा मिले। के लिए। फिर आता है तीसरा, expansion of employment exchange. More employment exchange should be opened. Information regarding one employment given to people. और हमें बहुत सारे जो एम्प्लॉयमेंट एक्सचेंज है उसका हमें एक्सपेंशन करना चाहिए ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा। फोर्थ है चेंज इन एजुकेशन सिस्टम। स्टूडेंट हु हैव liking for higher studies should be admitted in colleges and universities. Qualified engineers should start their own small units. फिर इसका फिफ्थ पॉइंट है more assistance to self-employed people. Most people in India are self-employed that are engaged in agriculture, cottage and small scale industries, etc. These persons should be helped financially, providing raw material and technical training. फिर 6 पॉइंट है full and more productive employment. Main objective of country employment policy should be to increase employment opportunities and productivity of labor. Government should adopt the policy that provide employment. फिर इसका 8th पॉइंट है increase in production. To increase employment, it is essential to increase productivity in agriculture and industrial sector. और 8 पॉइंट है इसका industries in cooperative sector. Industries in cooperative sector should be encouraged. Kerala government set up a textile mill covering 600 unemployed people in cooperative basis. This is a noble approach to fight against unemployment. और जो लास्ट है वो है कि पॉपुलेशन कंट्रोल. Growth of population should be checked in order to solve unemployment. Family planning program should be implemented widely and effectively. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhinav. Any questions for Abhinav? Okay, I guess. Okay, I guess there are no questions. So thank you, Abhinav. Thank you for sharing your views on unemployment. Uh, so okay, yeah. So yeah. Okay. So everyone, please confirm whether you can see my uh, screen or not.
No.
No, Rohit, not yet.
Okay,
Yes,
is it visible now?
you can see it now.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so just a second, guys. Hello. Yeah. So is my screen visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It
Thank you.
is visible.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So this is my second part of body language, and body language is a very important part of communication. What I have read is that whatever we speak verbally, that is just 10% of what we really want to express, and the remaining 90%, that is expressed by our own body language. It is said that you can lie verbally, like like you can lie while you speak, but your body language never lies. It just represents you. It just shows your true self. So then that's why body language is a very important part. And as I told, this is my second part of this topic. And the first part, you can see it on the uh, YouTube's TISA presentation page. You will find it. So yeah, so let us begin. So the first topic is leg barriers, leg barrier gesture. Uh, so if you can see, yeah, so if you can see in the images on right hand side, they are the first image is showing the standard leg cross position. So then this is like the most common position which we see almost everywhere, and this position indicates and yeah, if you see someone holding this position, like the man who has crossed his leg, it means that he he is having a defensive attitude. He does not want anyone to disturb him, and he is really focused on whatever he is doing. And on the other hand, when the standard leg cross gesture is in combination with the hand cross gesture, so then it means that the person whoever is holding this gesture, he is not at all interested in the conversation, and the best way will be to stop conversation, because that man or that woman might need his or her own space, and yeah, mentally they are completely out of conversation. So then whatever you speak, it will be no benefit for you as well as the other person. So the next leg gesture is the leg lock. So then the person holding this gesture, the leg lock, which you can see in the second image on right hand side. Okay, if you consider this the first image of a man with a leg lock position reading a newspaper, or a paper, so it indicates that that he has a competitive and a argumentative gesture combined with confidence. Okay, it means it is like he is very confident in whatever he is doing, and if you challenge him, then he might turn up a argumentative fight against you. And in the second scene, and in the second scenario, if you can observe, sorry, yeah, and in the second scenario, if you observe, the man is holding his hand tightly to his leg. It is like it is like he is deliberately locking his leg. So then yeah, so then it is a clear indication of extreme argumentative nature. It means that whatever you speak to him, he will be argumentative against it. If for an example, if you are in an office, and if someone, yeah, and if there is a quarrel between you and this guy, okay, who has locked his leg with his hand, and then and then if that guy has this position, so then he will not at all agree his mistakes. So then so then that shows his argumentative behavior, because he is locking his leg, and he is not ready to change his attitude, or he is not ready to change his mental state. So then this is what this leg lock gesture means. And in this third gesture, which is ankle lock, the third image on the right hand side, so this is used to hide fear or anger. Like if you see this image, the man has locked his ankle, and then he is tightly holding his chair, just in a way to hide his anger. And then if you see the female version of angle lock, like even she has locked her ankle. And yeah, and in the case of man and woman, you can clearly identify whether a man you can clearly identify whether a man is hiding his anger or his fear. But in the case of females, it is a bit difficult to recognize whether they are hiding their fear or anger. That, yeah, and that is not my word. That is that is the word from the novel which I have read. So the next gesture is popular gestures and actions. So first we will talk about the neutral head gesture. So if you consider a situation, if you are the boss and you are talking with your employee, and if he has this neutral head gesture, and while talking, if your employee is nodding his head, which means that he has a neutral attitude on whatever you are saying. And on the other hand, if you consider the interested attitude, like if you are talking with your employee and then he has his head slightly tilted, which means that he is very interested in whatever you are speaking, or he is very interested in the in the communication which you are having. So the best way to use this interested gesture is that whenever you are talking with someone, either on a video call, or if you're talking with someone in person, so then after some time of interval, try to you know like try to tilt your head a little bit, so then it will give them an impression that you are interested in this conversation, so then you will have a good bonding. And the third is this and the third is this approval position. So then whenever the person with whom you are communicating, if he has his head a little low, and if his gaze are upward, like the way which you are seeing in this third picture, so then that means that he is like mentally he is not satisfied with whatever you are saying. And as I said, if verbally the man says that he agrees with you, but body language never lies. So then while communicating with someone, if the other person has this disapproval position, which you can see in the third image, it means that the man or that woman does not agree with whatever you are saying. So yeah, so the next is both hand behind the back. So this yeah so considering this first image on the right, this body language, like this, both hand behind the neck or back, and the person with a leg lock. So then this gesture indicates that this man is confident in that specific field of knowledge, that man or that woman is very confident in that specific field of knowledge. And you can see this gesture very commonly within the sales manager, bank manager, or the chief engineer of a company, and lawyers, and also in the company founders. So then this is a very common gesture in the confident people who are in their field from many long time. So then this gesture just indicates a know-it-all attitude. And I will suggest everyone to please avoid this kind of this kind of gesture, because sometimes it is very irritating for other people. And the next gesture is readiness gesture. So whenever a man or a woman has both of his hand on his like on his vest, so then this indicates a readiness gesture. uh, Readiness means that whatever you like, if I am your boss and I gave you some task, and after giving the task, if you have this readiness gesture, like both hands on your waist, so it indicates that you are excited to start this to work on this project. And yeah, it also indicates a aggressive gesture, because you want to start working on this project as soon as possible. So then this is one type of readiness gesture. So now we will talk about the seated readiness gesture. So as you can see in the first image on the top, uh, so while talking with anyone in office or in a social gathering, so if the person with whom you're talking to, if he has this seated readiness gesture, it means that he needs to sorry yeah so it means that that guy needs to leave out of this conversation. He needs to get away from this conversation. So then the best way to have a upper hand on over both of you will be to stop to end the to end the conversation. uh, so while communicating with someone, if you notice this seated readiness gesture, make sure to end the conversation. By this way you will be the you will have the power to terminate the conversation, and then it will be like the power will be transferred back to you. And so now we will talk about male aggressive gesture. Okay, so then in the second image on the top, if you see the first image, so then when both men have their hands on their vest, it on their vest or like in their pocket, so then it is like they are yeah. And then also when they are making some angle while talking with each other, it means that they are like like what we say, like they are yeah, like they uh, like they are giving signals of the the threats to each other. Okay, if they have a angle between them. And if you see this second image, when both these men are standing face to face, and if they have hands on their vest or hands on their belt or in their pocket, which means that a fight or a argumentative fight might broke out between them. So yeah, so next we will talk about cigar and glasses gesture. And yeah, and this is just for educational purpose. I do not encourage smoking by talking about this, and smoking is really harmful to health. So yeah, so if you are communicating with someone, and while you are communicating, if the other person, a man or a woman, if they are smoking, and while smoking, if they like if they smoke upwards, which means that they are positive, like it means that they have positive and confident feelings about themselves. And on the other hand, if the man or woman, if they smoke downwards, okay, if they smoke downwards, it means that they have a negative or suspicious feelings about themselves or about the surrounding. And yeah, and in the third scenario, if the man or woman smokes through the side, okay, you might have seen people smoking through their sides, either in public places or in movies. It means that they are in a highly negative mindset. Okay, so then it will be better to leave them, to let them be alone all by themselves. And yeah, now let's talk about gestures with glasses. This is my favorite favorite gesture because yeah, I guess that in this is I guess that because most of the people in my office have glasses so then that might be the reason that why it is my favorite gesture. So yeah, while at the end of a meeting, if your boss have have the stick of a glass in his mouth, like as you can see in this image, that means that he's trying to delay the decision, or like he needs some more time to think. And then while doing so, see now this indicates that I need some more time to make a decision. And then okay, and then while doing so, if I once again put on my glasses, it means that I will have I need some more time to go through all the facts once again. Okay, and then after doing this, okay, and then after having the stick of my spectacles in my mouth, if I just fold my spectacles and then keep it aside, okay, it means that I have made up my mind. It's like I have made up my mind, and then I do not yeah, it means that I have made up my mind, and then sorry, yeah, it means that I have made up my mind, and then I do not need any more time to make a decision. Okay, so now let's talk about copying other person gestures. So yeah, so by research, it has been proven that while communicating with others, if you try and copy their gesture, so then you will have good bonding. And this gesture is highly beneficial if you are trying to convince the other person. Okay, and it has been proven by research, by copying other person gesture, you have a good bonding, and then there is a high chance that that the other person might agree to your point of view. Okay, so then while conversing with some with your employees, try to copy their gestures. You will have a good bond and by which you will be able to place your point very nicely. So now comes the body lowering gesture. So take a example. Okay, if you like if by some reason you break some traffic rules, and the police officer comes to your car, and then you win down your window. So then what will happen? Okay, okay, so then by doing so, you are giving the police officer a chance to a, a chance to get to directly attack on you. When I say directly attack on you, I do not mean by physical attack. Okay, I mean that he will be he will be in a highly attacking phase. Okay, so then to avoid that, what you can do is that you should at once get out of your car, and then you should go to his car. Okay, and then by lowering your body, okay, you should ask for forgiveness. So yeah, so then it has been seen that by doing so, there is a high chance that the police officer uh, might not cut a challan for you. And then also body lowering gesture has like you can see body lowering gesture in front of the high royal families. So then in the same way, by lowering your body in front of police officer or in front of your boss, so then you are directly putting them on a higher authority. Okay, and then by giving them such importance, you are you can side away, you can avoid a lot of trouble which might come upon you. So then that's why we all should learn this body lowering gesture. Yeah, so now let's talk about the pointing gesture. So if you consider this first image on the right, what we can see, like these both men, they are having approximately 90 degrees angle themselves. If you can see this image, you can clearly see a 90-degree between these two arrows. Okay, so then whenever you see this gesture, it means that these two people, they are bonding very nicely with each other. Okay, and if third person wants to come in between them, and if they are having a comfortable communication within each other, so then all the three people, they will form a triangle, like, okay, they will form a triangle within themselves, like approximately they will form a triangle of equal angle. Okay, so then you will then you will consider this point in the sorry, you will understand this point in the next slide. And the next one is closed formation gesture. In the second image on the right, you can see that that they have zero angle between themselves, like they are completely facing each other. Whenever two person they are having such close formation gesture, it means that they are very comfortable within themselves, and they do, like, okay, and then they are, okay, and then they are allowing, like they are allowing each other to come close to each other. Okay, and then the second gesture is very different from the open formation gesture. Okay, in the formation gesture, the person, they have same ideology. Okay, but then in the close formation gesture, they are in a more friendly manner. Okay, like a more friendly relation is building when two person are in close formation gesture. Yeah, and then as I said in the previous slide, when three person, they talk with each other, and then when they have same ideology, as you can see, they are forming a triangle. Okay, and the angle is approximately equal. Okay, so then which means that the two people, they have accepted the third person in in their communication of same ideology. And then on the other hand, can anyone tell, like if the fourth person joins the joins the group which has the same ideology, then what kind of shape their feet might produce? Anyone? like uh, like like in this image, you can see like their feet, uh, like their feet are directing to the other's feet, and forming a triangle of almost equal angle. So then my question is, like if the fourth person of same ideology joins them, so then what shape they might form? Anyone?
It can be right angle
Square shape.
to each other.
Huh?
Right angle.
Right angle. Okay, yeah, almost correct. Okay, and Anita ma'am, you said something.
They will form a square, so 90 degrees each.
Exactly. Yeah, yes. Yeah, yes. Anita ma'am is absolutely correct. When four people are communicating and they have same ideology, so then they will form 90-degree angle, which means a square. And then in the second image to the right, uh, the man and the woman, okay, they are having this close formation gesture, as we saw in this image. Okay, and then now in this image the third person has joined. Okay, but now you can see that all three people, they are not forming the same angle. Okay, which means that this woman and this man, they like subconsciously they are not accepting this third guy with a tie who has his both hands folded. Okay, which means that they are not allowing the third guy in their conversation. So then this is the meaning of the angles which is formed between two or uh, more group of people. Yeah, yes, and then now foot pointing gesture. So then we saw like how the foot pointing gesture can tell us like whether they are interested in a conversation or not. And so in a similar way, the foot pointing gesture can also tell us that that whether the person okay, sorry, let me reframe it. So the foot pointing gesture can also indicate the direction in which the person has to go, and then they also indicate the person to whom they are attracted to. Okay, like in this image on this slide, all the man, they have their foot pointing to that woman. Okay, which means that they are which means that they are attracted to that woman. And then, as I just said, that the foot pointing gesture can also indicate the direction in which they want to go. Like, let me give an example. If in your office you are talking with your boss, okay, and you have your foot pointed to the boss because you want to discuss something important related to work with him. But if your boss has his foot pointed to the other direction, like to the direction to the right of you, okay, which means that even if you are interested to talk with him, to talk with your boss regarding some work, but your boss needs to go somewhere. So then that is how the foot can also indicate the direction in which they will like to go. And then, guys, that's the end of my presentation. And then let me tell you one interesting fact about body language. Okay, body language is not that simple to learn, like you read a book upon body language, or you watch a presentation on the body language, so then you can learn about it. No, there are many barriers to body language. Like for an example, as I just said, like just for an example, as I just said, like the foot indicates the direction to which the man or woman wants to go. But then there might also be some scenarios where the man is comfortable to 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 keep his foot to the direction of the exit door. Okay, like he might have some injury in his foot, that's why he might be comfortable keeping his foot pointed to the direction to the exit door. Okay, that does not mean that he wants to go to the exit door. Similarly, there are many such barriers to body language. Okay, so then it requires a lot of patience and lot of research to understand other person's body language. And then according to the novel, what I have understood is that the only way to understand body language is by watching movies and series on online, and then by observing the actors gestures, and then predetermining what he might be thinking, or what he or she might be thinking, and then and then predicting like what his next action will be. So then that is the best way to understand body language. But yeah, as I just said, it requires a lot of patience and experience to actually understand other person's body language. So then that's all from my side, guys. Thank you for listening to my presentation so patiently. Thank you once again.
Yeah, Rahul, it was a very good presentation. Actually,
Thank you.
we got to know few things about body language today. Actually, those we were not aware of at all. Thanks a lot for this presentation. I have two questions
Mhm.
regarding this presentation. The first one is, see, there are three important things. Something will be going in our mind, right?
Yeah.
Some on some topic, something will be going in our mind. And the second thing is what we speak, the words. The third one is our body language.
Yeah.
These three things will not be synchronized all the time.
Yeah.
Okay,
True.
what you
True.
are speaking will not match what you are thinking, and your body language will also not match about what you are thinking.
True. Yes.
So, is this body language will go always with the mind or different from the mind what we are thinking?
So yeah, yeah. So then, sir, as I said in the start of presentation, like like if you are my boss, and then and then and then if you are explaining me something, and then verbally I might say that yes, I completely agree with you, but then but then mentally I am thinking like I do not agree with you. So so then what will happen subconsciously, my body language will follow my mind. So then the body language will always go with our mind rather than with our verbal communication.
Yeah, whether this body language will go always with the mind or sometimes it differs.
Like sir, okay, so then like sir, if you are mindful of your actions, so then yeah, yes sir. So then let me reframe it once again. So the body language will always go with the mind. Okay,
Okay.
and yeah, and in the best case scenario, if you are very mindful of your actions and whatever you are speaking, and then even if you do not agree with whatever your boss is saying, and then still you can use other still you can use other body language just to showcase that you completely agree with your boss. But okay, but if you are not mindful of your action, so then your body language will definitely follow your mind.
Okay. Thank you,
Yeah.
Rohit. And I have one more question
Hmm.
regarding in one of these slides you mentioned that when you are sitting on a chair and our ankles are crossed, okay,
uh,
this means that either you are hiding your fear or hiding your anger, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So usually when we sit on the chair, we used to cross our ankles, but I don't remember whether we hide or fear neither anger. So there are some cases which this point doesn't match.
Hmm.
So that will be our normal gesture while speaking.
Hmm.
So is it possible that this can be one of the case where we are not hiding either fear or anger?
Yeah, yes, sir. Absolutely. Yes, sir. As I said, that body language has many barriers. Okay, so then
Yeah,
some
okay.
people might feel comfortable by locking their ankles, and then some people might feel comfortable like sitting normally. So then every time, whenever someone locks his ankle, that doesn't mean that he is hiding his fear. But talking about me, I have observed that whenever I want to hide my fear, subconsciously I lock my ankles. Yeah, I have observed this.
Okay, Rohit. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for the clarification. And it was a wonderful presentation. Thanks.
Thank thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Any more questions?
Hi, Rohil.
uh,
Yeah,
Hi,
it
ma'am.
was a wonderful presentation, and we could see how much efforts you have put in, like
Thank you.
I, the research that you have done. So my question is like, what study covers this body language study?
Hmm. Yeah, so I have made this presentation on the novel Body Language, written by Alan Pease. Okay, and then and then I read that novel, and then on the basis of that I made this presentation. And then also talking about the author Alan Pease, he has done years of research on on human gesture. So then on that research he wrote this novel.
Okay, do you think we should read this novel, or we should just try to observe others' postures, like especially in movies or in series, and try to learn ourselves? So, what do you like? What do you suggest? What's the
uh,
best way to do?
Yeah, I will definitely suggest to read a novel on body language, or not. And any good novel on body language, and then try to apply that knowledge on on the surrounding people, or from the web series.
Okay, that's fine. And one more question I have, like, there was a slide where we were talking about a leg lock, or
Mhm.
where we feel more like we are sitting very freely, and it shows that we are overconfident, like we have that all we know attitude.
Mhm.
So, sometimes we feel relaxed, and when we complete our work, so that time also we sit freely, na?
Yeah. Yes.
So
Yes.
that's what I was thinking. Like, like, like in your slides, you have like you suggested not to, uh, uh, like, not to do those postures. But sometimes when we want, like in my case, when I want to focus on something very important discussion, I do my leg lock. And when I finish my task, and like after a long sitting I'm finishing my task, I just do this all we need attitude. So do you think we should continue to do that, and or we should actually avoid it?
So well, what I think is that when you are sitting within your subordinates, like like when you are sitting with the employees of the same level, or with the employees with from the junior level, I don't think that the know it all attitude will do any harm. But yeah, but yeah, while in a meeting with the higher management or with your boss, doing so then that know it all attitude gesture might not look good. And then yeah, and then not only this know it all attitude, any other gesture, like yawning too much, और देन लाइक वो जिसे हम हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना कि अंगड़ाई लेना, है ना? या सो देन सच काइंड ऑफ gestures, I think that we should avoid doing in front of our boss. And then and then as you said, that you feel good after completing your work, and then so that's why you do this know it all attitude. I guess that it is obvious, because this know it all attitude also shows confidence. So then you might be doing it just because you are proud of yourself and confident that you have completed your today's task.
Okay. Thank you, Rohit.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, so okay, so thank you everyone for joining today's presentation, and I hope that you enjoyed all the three presentation. And yeah, and yeah, before leaving, if you want to say something, you are welcome.
Yeah, Rohil, we all enjoyed this presentation. I would like to know whether this presentation event will be happening every week.
Actually, sir, the presentations happen or every alternate week, and yeah, and whensoever, if there are any changes in the scheduled time or date of the presentation event, it is always updated on our national telegram group. And the details of the
Okay, fine.
and the details of the next presentation will also be updated on our national telegram group.
Okay. Yeah, Rohil. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Santosh sir.
All presentations were very unique and all were nice. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, so yeah, and really sorry for starting this presentation so late. Actually, it was supposed to start on 11:30, but due to some technical issues from my side, it took me so long to start this.
That's absolutely fine.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Actually, yesterday I had given one presentation. Nikhil Iyer sir had conducted that session,
Mhm.
and during the presentation, mine was the first, and I was not able to share my screen as well as my video. I was not aware that my video was off. After completing the presentation, when Nikhil sir said that your video was, that time I came to know my video was off. But I don't know how that happened, because I never presented any presentation online. I was not aware of the tools and all. So it happens sometimes because of this technical issues. We face some problems.
Yeah. Yes, sir, indeed.
Okay, Rohit, thanks a
Yeah.
lot for this presentation.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Santosh sir. Thank you, Anita ma'am. Hope to see you next time in the presentation
Yes.
event.
Okay.
Yeah,
Take care.
sure.
Bye.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Anita.
Bye bye. Enjoy.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah. Enjoy your Sunday.
You too. Bye.